18 years ago, a news center was birthed, charged to collect balanced, credible, and accurate news and information. A tax tested and proven to be a world-class example of news presentation where truths are told. We lead by example and others follow. RCR News, the premier source of accurate news. News Desk.
African Court on Human Rights once Liberia ratifies and domesticates the Protocol on Human Rights signed in 1998 dispatches a high-powered delegation to engage officials in Liberia. Opposition leader Alexander Cummings vows to forge alliances with opposition parties and civil society groups to ensure positive change in Liberia. Says the benefits of the country's resources must be equitably distributed. Ministry of Our announces a nationwide survey on women's empowerment and dietary diversity across the country. Away from Liberia, President William Ruto announces the death of Kenya's military chief. The details of these developments and news bulletin is after news posts are anticipated on today's edition of the program. We take a quick feedback. Thanks for rejoining us. Up next is Oliver Bound with the news bulletin. Good evening.
Good evening, Hanson. Good evening to all. How power delegation of the African Club on Human Rights to Liberia has called on the 55th National Legislature to ratify the Protocol on Human Rights signed by the country since 1998. During a courtesy visit to House Speaker Nati Kofa and its pro tem of the Liberian Senate, Nyomli Kanka Lawrence, the capital building, the president of the African Court on Human Rights, Madame Joanne Abu said many Liberians are unaware of the protocol. According to Madame Abu, Liberia is among many African countries that have signed onto the protocol, but the instrument is yet to be ratified, domesticated. He added that the ratification will qualify the country's full membership with the African Court on Human Rights. Madam Aboud of the United Republic of Tanzania further urged the legislature to create amendments for the citizens and advocate for the ratification of the quote and plenary with the protection of human rights. In response, Senator Yombi Kanka Lawrence defended the dedication of the African Court on human rights for their efforts and promised on behalf of the Senate to create awareness and advocate for the ratification. The Grand Bassa County Senate counted the joint resolution recently signed by the 55th National Legislature for the establishment of a war and economic squad in Liberia to foster accountability and uproar. She added that the Senate Committee on Judiciary headed by Senator Augustine Chia will mainly look at the signed protocol and advise plenary. For his part, House Speaker Fernando Kofa vowed to ensure total compliance. The political leader of the Alternative National Congress, Alexander Cummings, has reiterated his dedication to forging alliances with opposition parties and civil society groups to ensure substantive change in Liberia, emphasizing the necessity of change to propel Liberia forward. Cummings underscored the ANC's determination to collaborate with other political entities to ensure governmental accountability and empowered ordinary Liberians. He lamented the hard inequalities that persist in a country rich with resources, stating that the benefits must be equitably distributed rather than concentrated among a select elites. He made the statement in an exclusive interview with Voice of America Daybreak The Ministry of Agriculture has announced a nationwide survey focused on women's empowerment and dietary diversity across the country. The survey will be conducted in collaboration with the Liberian Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services. The initiative, supported with funding from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, kicked off with a two-day event titled National Training on Integrating Women's Empowerment and Dietary Diversity National Agricultural Survey. Antoinette Duque, Deputy Agriculture Minister for Administration, emphasized the significance of the campaign in advancing women's empowerment and economic recovery in her keynote address. Meanwhile, speaking on behalf of our resident representative, Octavius Crabwood highlighted the survey's potential to mainstream women's empowerment and dietary diversity in agriculture, ultimately enhancing women's contributions to food security. The National Elections Commission has underscored the importance of incorporating persons living with disabilities into discussions on gender inclusion within Liberia's electoral process. The Commission's chairperson, Ifeata Brown said it is important to ensure that Liberians from all backgrounds are included in the country's electoral programs. Speaking during the commencement of a two-day gender and social inclusion lessons learned conference in Kakata by Kibikati, Batam Brown noted that the NEC is working to ensure everyone has a say in the democracy of Liberia. Representative for the family has alarmed over the pollution of the St. Paul River miners in Bond County. The Bond County District Number 7 representative expressed fear over the situation and said it poses health hazard to the people of Bond and Liberia at large. According to the Bond County lawmaker, miners in the district are using harmful chemicals, including dynamite, thus polluting the environment and posing serious threat to the health and well-being of the people. Representative Franklia noted that as part of his effort to ensure that the matter is addressed, he has written the plenary of the House of Representatives to invite the Environmental Protection Agency and the Ministry of Mines and Energy to appear before the House. A civil society group is alarmed about the alleged illegal sale of medical drugs intended for public health facilities in the country. Citizens United to Promote Development and Accountability has disclosed a united effort to expose and confront the issue of health workers' alleged involvement in the theft and sale of donated medical supplies. Victor Bawo, the executive director of the organization, denounced the unethical behavior, stating that it contradicts the oath taken by medical professionals to save lives. Speaking at a press conference in Monrovia on Thursday, Barrow urged the Liberian government to launch investigations into what he termed a deplorable practice aimed at personal enrichment. In a bid to ensure that students remain in school, a former Liberian senator has launched a school feeding program in Agip County. Former Senator Clarice Ija said the feeding program is part of the globally accepted academic strategy to create the necessary environment for learning. The former Maggie County Senator noted that the initiative is essential to the learning process of the students, especially the beginners who sometimes go to school without food. Speaking at the launch of the program Thursday, Madam Clarice Judge stressed that the school feeding program will serve as a motivation for the case in the face of the current economic hardship. Thursday morning was the same as men believed to be officers of the Presidential Guard set up a roadblock around Capitol Hill in Perugia. The aggrieved Executive Protection Service agents, according to IRC judicial correspondent, alleged that they were illegally relieved of their posts as officers of the EPS. Our correspondent further said the uniformed officers were visibly seen with weapons, something that instilled fear in onlookers. Police immediately came to intervene in the situation, thereby restoring calm. The officers earlier appeared on a local FM station discussing the illegal dismissal of about 200 men. However, Truth FM is yet to independently verify the claim of about 200 men being laid off from the Executive Protection Service. A Liberian media practitioner, Mark Mengonvia, has underscored the need for students to choose a career path if they are to make impact in society. Speaking recently at the Dominion Christian Institute Career Day program in Institute, Mengonvia told the students that choosing a career is one of the critical things that people need to carefully make decisions about. The president of the Dominion Christian Institute Alumni Association underlined the identification of their skills with or developed interest in what they hope to achieve. Bengovia said career planning is the best strategy that a student must consider. Youth Movement for Collective Action is proposing 20% increment in the budget for education. The group noted that increment in the budget for education is a realistic step in addressing issues confronting the education sector of Liberia. Youth Movement Executive Director Riot Brooks said countries in the West African region that are spending a lot on education are getting the right results. Something he said Liberia is on the contrary. Brooks assured the public of a sustained advocacy for the improvement of education in Liberia. For their part, Representative Thomas Kuya, who chairs the House of Representatives Committee on Education, and Senator Humani Senate Committee on Education pledged to support the application. Away from Liberia came the military chief, Francis Ogola, after a military helicopter crashed in the west of the country. The president has announced General Ogola was in the helicopter alongside 11 other military personnel. Only two people survived, according to the BBC. In a news conference, President William Ruto said it was a tragic moment. He had earlier convened an urgent meeting of the country's Security Council. The helicopter came down in Kenya's Rift Valley in the west of the country and burst into flames according to local media reports. Rescue and recovery teams have been dispatched to the site of the crash. Well, say that's the news collector.
Today's regular feature on the news program. If you are just joining us, one of the top developments we are following. Opposition leader Alexander Cummings vows to forge alliances with opposition parties and civil society groups to ensure substantive change in Liberia. The benefits of the country's resources must be equitably distributed. Let's bring you the voices of the A high-powered delegation of the African Court on Human Rights to Liberia has called on the 55th National Legislature to ratify the protocol on human rights signed by the country since 1998. During the courtesy visit, the Speaker for Antigua and the President pro tempore of the Liberian Senate, Senator Yamdi Kanga Lawrence, at the Capitol, and the President of the African Court on Human Rights, Madam Jamanin Abu, said many Liberians are unaware of the protocol. According to Abu, Liberia is among many African countries that has signed onto the protocol, but the instrument is yet to be ratified and domesticated. The political Conservative National Commission reiterated its dedication forging alliances with opposition parties and civil society groups to ensure substantive change in Liberia, emphasizing the necessity of change Liberia forward. Underscored the ANC's determination to collaborate with other political entities to ensure governmental accountability and empower ordinary Liberians. Alexander Collins is the political leader of the Alternative National Congress there near an exclusive interview with the Voice of America Group Africa Authority. The National Elections Commission has underscored the importance of incorporating persons living with disabilities in discussions on gender inclusion within Liberia's electoral process. The Commission's chairperson, David Van Lafana, said it is important to ensure that Liberians from all backgrounds are included in the country's electoral programs. Speaking during the commencement of the two-day Gender and Social Inclusion Lesson Learned conference in Katakama, County, Madam Brown Lasana noted that the MC is working to ensure that everyone has a stay and the advocate has a stay in the advocacy of Liberia. Representative Foley Family has alarmed of both the pollution of the St. Paul River by miners in Bond County. Bond County District Number 7 representative expressed fear over the situation and said it poses a hazard to the people of Bond and Liberia at large. According to the Bond County lawmaker, miners in the district are using harmful chemicals, including dynamite, thus polluting the environment and posing serious threat to the health and well-being of the people of Liberia. He spoke when he proffered. Voted from one of the county district number 7 representative speaking when he presented the communication to the full plenary of the House of Representatives. The Ministry of Agriculture has announced a nationwide survey focused on women's empowerment and dietary diversity across the country. The survey will be conducted in collaboration with the Liberian Institute of Statistics and Geoinformation Services. The initiative is supported with funding from the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, kicked off with a 2-day training entitled National Training on Integrating Women's Empowerment and Dietary Diversity in National Agricultural Survey. Speaking on behalf of FAO resident representative, Otavius Kwabut highlighted the survey's potential.
On one hand, we have the medical dietary diversity body, which has been developed and validated by FDA several years ago, and nowadays is implementing several life skills currently, such as the PHS and the Gallup poll. On the other hand, we have women's empowerment or which has been developed by it in collaboration with Oxford and Emory University, and has been the foundation on the Women's Empowerment Agriculture Index, also adapted by many organizations worldwide in the past 30 years. In addition to providing higher education, the FAO statistics show will provide the technical and financial assistance required to guarantee successful integration of diversity in our schools.
Speaking earlier, Nuclear Deputy Agriculture Minister for Administration emphasized the significance of the time in advancing women's empowerment and economic recovery during key issues.
I would like to express appreciation to everyone United Liberia alongside us here, their several groups introduced the women empowerment and model as a pilot project. FAO, your commitment to nation agricultural development is unmatched, and we are truly grateful for your partnership. In Liberia, women are not just part of our agriculture sector, they are the backbone, making 70% of our farmers. Despite the cultural barriers we face, they continue to play an important role in transforming our agricultural landscape. This is why integrating women
Mhm.
empowerment and nutrition into agricultural survey is not just a unique opportunity, but a necessity. It allows us to understand the connection between women empowerment, their role in agriculture, and their nutritional status among other things. This is not just about agriculture, but human rights in the long term. The workshop will feature two narrators, mostly women, who will go to collect data regarding agricultural production for the Liberia National Agricultural Center. We firmly believe that this will significantly contribute to the realization of SDGs human development agenda. Therefore, this workshop is just a training program, but an important step towards our nation's economic recovery. As we work together to achieve these goals, let us remember that agriculture is not just an industry, but a way of life to sustain us all. Thank you.
Antoinette Duke is Deputy Agriculture Minister for Administration. Earlier, he listened to FAO representative to Liberia, Kwabo. A civil society group has learned about the alleged illicit sale of medical drugs intended for public health facilities in the country. Citizens United for Development and Accountability has disclosed a united effort to expose and confront the issue of health workers' alleged involvement in the theft and sale of donated medical supplies. Victor Balu, the executive director of the organization, denounced unethical behavior, stating that it contradicts the oath taken by medical professionals to save lives. Youth Movement for Collective Action is proposing 20% increment in the budget for education. The group noted that increment in the budget for education is a realistic step in addressing issues confronting the sector of Liberia. Youth Movement Executive Director Uriah Brooks said countries in the West African region that are spending a lot on education are getting the needed results. Something he said Liberia is doing on the contrary.
You have other things to do. So that would be increase the teaching and then make sure the school survive and the local teachers come up with new rules and then we can also look at school facility and upgrade as well. So like I was telling you, school budget for like the year see several months faster. Because we understand that the long time as compared to other countries that only 5 don't like you. So there is a big gap. So that will work there.
Uriah Brooks is the executive director of Youth Movement for Collective Action, speaking at its symposium, speaking together, representing Thomas Quaid, which is the House of Representatives Committee on Education, and Central Women Senate Committee co-chair on Education, pledged to support the advocacy. A Liberian media practitioner, Matt McGon, has underscored the need for students to choose a career path if they are to make impact in society. Speaking recently at the Dominion Christian Institute Career Day program in Painesville, McGon told students that choosing a career is one of the critical things that people need to carefully make decisions about. The president of the Christian Institute Alumni Association online the identification of their skills with a developed interest in what we hope to achieve. Mike McGompia is a Liberian media practitioner speaking of the recent career day program organized by students, graduates of the Dominion Christian Institute in Painesville. Let's now welcome Nabi Tapia to bring us this developments. Good evening.
Good evening and good evening, everyone. The national contest was continued this Saturday at colorful venues across the country. The last preliminary round of Group A members from the county is currently clashing at 2 p.m. in Town in the kickball version of the tournament. Berlin will take on Nigeria at the weekend's venue at the venue in the second kickball match conclude Group E kickball activities. Ontario County are eager to host to Great Kickball in Group B first ever game at the Stadium at 2 p.m. and bombing and kickball match will be played at the SAD Sports Complex Stadium at 2 p.m. to wrap up Group B kickball preliminary rounds. In Group C, last division finalists for the kickball category and in the group host Nima County will battle Rivers West County at 2 p.m. in Saturday at the first set of Stadium at in the group's fourth kickball encounter while Bon County and Grenfell will come face to face at the Compass Stadium in Antonio County. Tilonki Women's Grand Bassa welcome to Friday at 2 p.m. at the Nancy B. Rose Stadium in Kakatamba, Gibi County. In the football category of the County Leagues, it hosts Robert County and South County will battle at 2 p.m. in Fishtown. As the game will be followed by Maryland and Nigeria at the Corinthian Sports Finish at the CTV this Saturday in the preliminary rounds. Oswald County will take on Grand Cape County at 4 p.m. at the ATS in Group B of the group's last football encounter between Bon County and Bon County will be played at FP's Sports Complex. See host and champions Democratic will meet USS at 4 p.m. Eastern. The Bon County will climax its football territories on the classroom. The bottom side of County at 4 p.m. Ganta at the Compass Sports Pitch. Grandpapa and Grandma are expected to meet the next window in Kakata center of attraction, where they meet in the football match at 4 p.m. and the preliminary last football fiesta in the county. The Liberia Basketball Association meets will continue this Friday with Team Josh Knight on TS Warriors in the day's opening match at 3 p.m. at the SAP Sports Complex Basketball Gym. Star One in Kings will play the day's second match at 4 p.m. while Bushra Barras Kings will in the basketball second division plays at 7 p.m. at the same venue. The leagues will continue this Friday with Georgia Warriors Partners face-to-face at 4 p.m. in an open encounter at the SAP Sports Complex Basketball Gym. Royal legend Islanders will meet at 5 p.m. in the second basketball second division encounter. Invincible 11 in PRSU others will commence the day's basketball activities at 7 p.m. Lewis Hamilton says he will join his rival Fernando Alonso in racing Formula One well into his 40s. Alonso's new Aston Martin team would the F1 to at least 2026, past his 45th birthday. Hamilton would 40 next year when he starts his career with Ferrari in what is at least a 2-year commitment. McLaren covered Lando Norris, Alonso's achievements in competing for so long at the highest level in Formula One might not be seen again. Norris said he's one of the oldest guys competing at the top in the sport. That's often our sports.
Thanks to now being talked here for these good developments. Post brings us to the end of this edition of the news program. This that as we take leave of you. These are the top stories we have been following. African Court on Human Rights once Liberia ratifies and domesticates the Protocol on Human Rights signed since 1998. This parties a high power delegation to engage officials in Liberia. Opposition leader Alexander Cummings vows to forge alliances with opposition parties and civil society groups to ensure substantive change in Liberia, says the benefits of the country's resources must be equitably distributed. Ministry of Agriculture announces a nationwide survey on women's empowerment and dietary diversity across the country. Away from Liberia, President William Ruto announces the death of Kenya's military chief, General Francis Ogola, after a military helicopter crash in the west of the country. Thanks to our correspondents, reporters, writers, editors, and those of you who played your listening role. Thanks to Maya Tobin, who ably sat behind the camera, Johnson Foreman, coordinated the sounds, Olivia Baum Brothers, the news bulletin, the foreign development, Tapia Fata in the sporting developments. Well, on behalf of the news team, my name is Anthony Degagui.